Wizard of Oz marathon. And by marathon, we mean 2 movies. Um, yeah, this was a shorter marathon just because I needed a little bit of escapism. So here we are. And nothing's more escapism than Wizard of Oz. I'm not going to talk about this one too much because I assume everyone has seen it. You should watch it if you haven't. Like, come on. Um, if it's been a while, you should also watch it again because I mean it's great to rewatch and sing along and be a big fat dork. One thing, like you can notice things like upon multiple viewings, such as like the string holding up the Cowardly Lion's tail and like moving around. So you gotta imagine some like stagehand was up in the rafters, like moving it about like a marionette, which is just an amusing thought. Like, dude going home and his wife being like, "Oh, what'd you do today?" "Oh, I was a puppeteer for the Cowardly Lion's tail." Um, just in my own mind. Yeah, great film. This has a lot of special features for the particular thing I have, including a commentary, which has a whole bunch of people. Does it say on here? It just says film historian John Frick with cast, crew, and family. Some of the people who were speaking on the commentary, because I did look at it, were people who had died by then. Like Margaret Hamilton, the Wicked Witch of the West herself, is in the commentary. I haven't watched the commentary yet because I usually just turn on the movie. Um, but I'm not sure. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know if it's like excerpts from interviews or if it's was like recorded for a laser disc or something. So I will update you later, probably in the comments, several months in the future. Um, but yeah, this really great uh version. Also, it has like a little, like mini bios on disc one. It also has a documentary on here that are like hosted by Angela Lansbury for some reason. I'm like, really, Angela Lansbury? That's that's who you're getting to talk about Wizard of Oz? Just seems a little random, a little bit. But fun fact: the Ruby Slippers themselves were made up by MGM. The original um, book series, I should say, had silver slippers. However, they didn't show silver didn't show up as well in the Technicolor process, so MGM made them red. Um, but yeah, watch this. So that little piece of trivia is significant for our next film. I'm just gonna show you the tablet I watched it on. Um, because Disney, for Return to Oz, boop, there we go. They had to. You can see the reflection of the TV in the background. They had to pay for to use red, the ruby slippers because by this point it was iconic, and it would have been weird to be like, oh, here's Dorothy with silver slippers, which is just kind of funny because like book silver. And these Return to Oz it's based on 2 books, but it is closer to the source material than Wizard of Oz, than this guy. Also, fun fact, both kind of bombed in the theaters. Um, yeah, this one bombed in the theaters, but they kind of had a plan of re-releasing it, which they did every 10 years. Um, and it was, I think it was the second re-release in 1959 when it actually made money because this was a spendy film. I myself saw I believe, the last re-release in 1999. This was the first film I saw at the theater where I work. So, um, it was like right when it got built. Um, Return to Oz, I also saw in the theater and was emotionally scarred by the Wheelers and most of the film. Um, it was made in 1985 and also bombed, mostly due to bad advertising. It has not been re released. Um, yeah. You should watch it though. Like, I think it's still a legit film. The Wheelers are scarring, yes, but might get flashbacks to when you were a child if you watched it then. But overall, it's a little dark, a little creepy, but the bad guy's name, or the actor who plays the bad guy, is Nicole Williamson, and he's like legit creepy. Um, Fun fact: he's also where my sister got her middle name, because he was a villain on Columbo when my mom was pregnant with my sister. Um, but oh, and you might recognize the lady, bad guy. She was the Bad Morda in Willow. Her name is Jean Marsh. She always seems kind of creepy. I caught her in something else where she was supposed to be a good person, and I was suspicious of her the whole time. I'm like, no, I'm a child of the 80s. I can't trust you. It's also the first film of for I can't remember her name, but little girl who plays Dorothy was you recognize her from the movie The Craft. Um, Also, fun fact: this has a Jack Pumpkinhead and Jack Pumpkinhead. Ha, Pumpkinhead. This is not just here randomly because I left him up from Halloween. It's significant for this. Um, Jack Pumpkinhead was an inspiration for Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas that came out a few years later. Um, yeah. Also, the movie's supposed to be in Kansas. Neither one of these have a single frame shot in Kansas. MGM Wizard of Oz was, all in, Los, in and around Los Angeles, in backlots, or not backlots, but studios and whatnot. And then new one was all filmed in England. It does have actual outside shots, which this did not have. It was all insides. All insides. I'm speaking well. But yeah, the 1985 Return to Oz had external shots, but they were all in England. So when I was watching it, I'm like, I know I haven't seen a whole lot of Kansas, but I don't feel it looks like this. And then looked at IMDb, I'm like, oh, cause it's England. Makes sense. Yeah, the guy who also kind of fun fact, both had issues with the directors. This actually went through like 4 directors during its like pre-production mostly, but the 1985 Return to Oz also had some issues where the director was like going over budget and not on schedule. He did ultimately stay with it. I think I read that they pulled him off during post production though. It remains the only film he has directed, so obviously not the best experience. It also features stop motion animation, which looks really cool. of like the Gnome King and his gnomes. Um, it's kind of a Mountain King thing, but it's done in stop motion. It was made by Will Vinton. If you don't know who Will Vinton is, he was very cool. Um, he started Will Vinton Studios, um, which was based right here in Portland and has basically become Leica Studios, which made Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings and those movies. But yeah, Will Vinton, he made the California Raisins and the Will Vinton Christmas special, which I watch every Christmas. Um, oh, and the Mark Twain, The Adventures of Mark Twain, that's in stop motion. He also made that. So, um, but yeah, he did the stop motion on this, and it looks so amazing, and in parts so dang creepy. Like even as an adult, I'm like, that's a little skosh too far. Um, but yeah, as a 4-year-old, it was terrifying to me. But yeah, if you got time, highly recommend. Little quick 2-film marathon. Wizard of Oz, Return to Oz. They hold the record for the longest interval between original movie and its first sequel, theatrically released. Um, it's in Guinness Book of World Records. There was also a Bambi movie, but that which got a little bit longer, but that was direct to video, so I don't think it counts. Um, but yeah, watch these movies. Happy viewing. We'll see you later.